For anyone who grew up watching Planet of the Apes, General Ursus is unforgettable. He stood in front of an entire army and said, without flinching,
"The only good human is a dead human!"
He was the warmonger, the fanatic, the ape who led a civilization to its own destruction. That's what the movie wants you to believe. But hidden in the pages of a comic series that most fans have never read, there was a completely different story. Because when you see where Ursus came from, what he witnessed as a child, and what he lost as a grown man, you won't call him a villain anymore. Boom Studios published a 6-issue series simply called Planet of the Apes Ursus, written by David F. Walker. And it opens not with the general we know from the films, but with a child, a young gorilla traveling with his adoptive father, a white-furred preacher devoted to the lawgiver's sacred scrolls, an orphan boy seeing the world for the first time. Their journey brings them to a place called Terminus, and Terminus is not like anywhere else. The local prefect, a politician named Ursus, has built something he calls a solution to the human problem, an arena where humans are forced to fight each other to the death for control, for entertainment, for what Ursus calls purpose. Two humans tear each other apart on the sand below, and Ursus leans down and tells the boy something he will never forget. Humans are not without intelligence, limited though it may be, but those needs can threaten us, so we must find ways to deal with them. Kananios is horrified. He calls it a sin against the lawgiver, but young Ursus can't look away. He's not entertained. He's not disgusted either. He's calculated. He watches what humans do when they are desperate, cornered, and hungry. And something locks into place inside him, a cold, quiet certainty that will define the rest of his life. These creatures are dangerous, not because they're stupid, because they're not. Fast forward decades. Ursus is now a general, powerful, feared, respected, at least by his soldiers. But the first pages of the comic don't show him commanding troops or giving speeches. They show him waking up alone. Every morning he rises from the same side of the bed, his side, and he wonders, the narration tells us directly, if he will ever bring himself to sleep on the other side. He sits down for breakfast, and before he leaves for the day, he stops in a doorway, looks at something on the wall. Kama, my dearest, a photograph, a gorilla woman, gentle eyes, and beside her, the outline of a child that never grew up. His wife died in childbirth. The baby died with her. We learn this in a single page. No dramatic scene, no flashback. Just a man standing in a doorway, speaking to a photograph, then putting on his armor and walking out to face the world. On the surface, the most feared general in Ape City. On the inside, a widower, a father who never got to be one, a gorilla who gave everything to his civilization and had everything taken from him in a hospital room while his army was somewhere else. Running parallel to the events of the first Planet of the Apes film, Ursus is fighting a war on two fronts. The famine is real. The High Council's solution: turn soldiers into farmers. Ursus slams his fist on the table and says what nobody wants to hear: that humans must be stopped, not with plows, but with bullets and blades. Brutal? Yes. But what nobody tells you about his rage is that it wasn't new. He had been saying this for years, not out of bloodlust, out of math. The second front is Zeus. And this is where the story gets genuinely complex. After the council meeting, Ursus goes to Zeus privately. "You saved my life then, Zeus. I am trying to save your life now. Trying to save the life of every ape in this city." He knows Zeus has secrets. And Ursus, the gorilla everyone dismisses as a simple soldier, has been carrying the weight of that knowledge without the full picture for his entire career. And then comes the page that hits like a freight train. Dr. Zira is conducting research on a captured human. The other apes laugh, but the human picks up a stick. And in the dirt, in large, unmistakable letters, he writes, "I can write." The laugh dies. Because that's Taylor, the astronaut, the human who fell from the sky. For Ursus, this isn't a scientific breakthrough. It's confirmation of his worst nightmare. A human who can write is a human who can think, who can plan, who can build. He saw what humans build in Terminus. Two men destroying each other in an arena while crowds cheered. He saw it in the ruins of civilizations older than ape memory, and now one of them is here, in his city, writing on the ground. I told you. I told all of you. The series ends where the second film ends. Ursus leads his army into the Forbidden Zone. He's shot. He falls. And in his final moments, the comic gives us something the film never did. He sees his life in fragments, Canonaios, the arena at Terminus, and then the Lincoln Memorial, a young Ursus standing in the ruins of a dead world, staring up at the massive stone figure of a man who once ruled everything. Canonaios screaming beside him, "Do not look away from this blasphemous monstrosity, this symbol of evil." But Ursus wasn't horrified. He was reading the room. Humans built this. Humans ruled here. And humans burned it all down. That wasn't a warning from a preacher. That was evidence, and he never forgot it. Then, comma. Always comma. His hands reach for something that isn't there. My life could have been so much more. Comma, my love. I am sorry. And then, black. Just black. No heroic last stand. No final speech. No redemption arc. Just a gorilla bleeding out on the ground, alone, realizing in his last breath that the hatred he carried, the hatred that filled every room he walked into, that cost him every human connection he might have had, was not strength. It was armor, built over a wound that never had the chance to heal because he never allowed it to. Every enemy he named, every order he gave, every human he condemned. It was all just one long way of not saying the one thing he could never bring himself to say out loud. That he was still, underneath all of it, just a soldier who had lost everyone he loved and had no idea what to do with that. Here's the question I want you to sit with. Ursus was right about the humans. Taylor did exactly what Ursus said he would. The bomb that destroyed the planet, a human pulled the trigger. So was he a monster? Or was he the only one paying attention? Drop that in the comments. This question divides people every time. If this video made you see a character you thought you already knew in a whole new light, share it with someone who grew up watching Planet of the Apes. See you then.